Hey, how's it going? It's Sam Frost here, and in today's video I want to talk about GA4. Now, talking to clients over the past few weeks, really since that sort of forced migration onto GA4 has come along, the overwhelming, completely near universal feedback I've received is that everybody hates GA4. And I don't have to look past my own client base to see that. I can see it on social media comments and groups, and I'm in, if I go on Reddit's analytics forum, I can see it. Places like LinkedIn, I can see the feedback, YouTube video comments and so on. By and large, most people despise GA4 when they compare it to what they could do with the old version, Universal Analytics, and when they compare sort of the ease of use and simplicity of getting the data you want out of the platform. Now, I fully understand that there are all sorts of reasons why Google had to come along and develop GA4. In many respects, it is an advancement in a number of ways on the old version, on Universal Analytics, and I also appreciate that there are people who are sort of full-time data analysts, full-time analytics users. That's all they do, whether it's for one bigger business or for their clients, who probably find the platform a lot better and a lot less restrictive in terms of what can be done. But for the kinds of business owners and businesses and companies that I work with, what the sort of common complaints are is that it takes so much longer to find anything, and also the data is so much harder to sort of read and interpret, and there's less visualization. So there's two things I really want to do with this video. One is say, look, if you're sitting there saying, I hate Google Analytics 4, what am I supposed to do? I want to use it to understand my business performance, but I feel like I can't. Don't feel like you're alone. That's not a sort of unique frustration. It's a very common one. Even people who've been using analytics for a long time, like myself, still find it harder to work with and kind of harder to get the information and the insights that are wanted. The other thing to bear in mind with GA4 is if you want to make your life kind of easier and more enjoyable with using it, I would strongly encourage you to shift your mindset on what GA4 sort of stands for and exists to do. So Universal Analytics, what I would typically find is that most businesses I would work with, whether it's the business manager or the marketing manager or the marketing team or whatever, would be very comfortable in terms of both collecting the data in Universal Analytics and then actually kind of going in there to do the reporting. Now, it might be that they were pulling out, snapshots of data and putting them into a Google Sheet or an Excel doc or a Word doc or something like that, but almost all of the kind of fundamental reporting was done within Universal Analytics, whereas doing that within GA4, apart from a few basic metrics, it does take a lot longer. Now, you can customize sort of reports and visualizations and all sorts of things, and I fully agree that you probably should learn how to do that, but equally, most business owners and most marketing teams and marketers within businesses don't have time to do absolutely everything. And if you're trying to juggle a whole lot of different balls at once, this is one that's pretty easy to drop. And so that simple process of doing something like saying, hey, here's a page on our website, there's a piece of blog content we added, we think we're getting traffic from organic search, how's that trending over time? In Universal Analytics, that would be a really easy thing to go and do. You could go in and you could basically, go to the channel report and then open up your organic channels or organic search channel and then, set a dimension of landing page and click into that landing page and track the performance over time, or you could use segments, all sorts of things like that to really quickly achieve that one specific snapshot you wanted to see, which is traffic going up or down over time to this particular landing page from organic search. You can do the same thing in GA4, it just feels like it takes a lot longer. So what I'd really encourage you to do with GA4, if you're finding it frustrating, if you're hating the platform, is think about it more as a data collection tool rather than a reporting tool. If you want to make your life easier and make analytics less stressful in the age of GA4, unless you really want to dedicate ages to learn the platform and learn all the things that can be done, and honestly, I suspect for most business owners, there are better ways to spend your time when it comes to digital marketing. What I would say you should do is look at using something like Google Looker Studio. This used to be called Google Data Studio, and then for some reason they renamed it to just about the dumbest sounding product I've ever heard. But Google Looker Studio is a free tool that Google provides, and you can basically import your Google Analytics 4 data into there and then more easily build reports and dashboards and things that have all the metrics you want to see visualized the way you want to see them visualized, whether that's in time series charts or bar charts or pie charts or tables or anything like that. You can set up what you want to look at, and then you just go into Looker Studio, and all that's happening with GA4 is it's collecting the data and pushing it off to Google Looker Studio. And for kind of more power users, there's like a sort of upgraded version of doing this with another tool. But for most users that I would deal with, most small to medium businesses, putting the data from GA4 into Looker Studio is kind of good enough. Now, another option you've got is to actually look at using like a third-party reporting tool. So, for example, in my business, I often use something called Slido. I think that's how you say it. It might be Swedo. That's a paid tool for reporting with. So I pay Slido or Swedo a sort of license fee for every data source I connect. And one of the things to bear in mind with Looker Studio is Looker Studio, you can connect Google data sources for free. So that's things like GA4, Universal Analytics if you still have data from there, Google Sheets, Google Ads, and so on. If you want to start connecting in things like Meta ads or LinkedIn ads or third-party platform data like that, you've often got to pay a company like Supermetrics to actually pull the data across for you or develop your own data connection. There are some free or sort of low-cost options out there, but the cost can scale up pretty quickly depending on what it is you want to do. If you just want to review Google Analytics 4 data in Google Looker Studio, that's not going to cost you anything, at least at the moment. But you could also, if you want to start reporting on lots of different things at once, like you've got Google Analytics and you've got Facebook ads or Meta ads, you've got LinkedIn ads, you've got Google ads, you've got email campaigns going through something like MailChimp, you could use a tool like Slido. You'll have to pay a little bit each month for the data connections, but you can kind of visualize everything in one report or one dashboard or build out multiple dashboards. Another one I like is Agency Analytics, although from a pricing model, that's really more aimed at if you've got multiple clients, but still a good option. And what I've found is that clients I've helped set up with either Slido or Agency Analytics, or there's a whole bunch of other tools doing all the same thing, they way prefer paying a little bit each month for reporting versus actually having all the stress and hassle of trying to get all the data understood within GA4. Just having it all come into one place makes things a lot easier. So whether you want to look at Looker Studio, and there are tons of great templates you can get for free as well that will help you sort of visualize what you might want to visualize, or you just want to build out some basic dashboards, things like where are your visitors coming from channel-wise and source-wise and location-wise, and what pages are they viewing, and what's the device breakdown and everything, all that kind of stuff with GA4 data, very easy to do in Looker Studio. Build out a report that you can access at any time. I've got a few projects I've worked on recently where I've helped clients set that kind of thing up in sort of basic form, and they're loving it because they, instead of having to go into GA4 and feel completely overwhelmed and just hating the experience, they can go load up Looker Studio, they can set the date range for the report or the widgets they want to look at, get the data they want, take some screenshots if they want to send it around the office or whatever the case may be, and move on. And it's just a big time saving. So yeah, GA4, if you hate it, you're not alone in hating it. Most normal people, outside of those who love analytics and love those data tools and kind of have the time and capacity to learn the platform, most everybody else hates it, myself included. I don't think it's going to get that much better over time. I mean, hopefully it will, but it kind of feels like Google is really sort of just committed to forcing it on you in whatever format they think is appropriate. The secret is treat GA4 as a data collection tool, get that set up right, and then visualize the data in another tool, something like Google Looker Studio, or a paid option like Slido or Agency Analytics, or there's a whole load others. Places like AppSumo often have some really good deals on these reporting tools as well. I've seen some great lifetime deals there. If you've got any questions, let me know. Please like this video if it was helpful. Please subscribe for more digital marketing advice, and I'll see you next time.